Looks like Serbia is on its way back to implementing a mandatory military service, and I've been getting questions about it, and I want to talk to you about that topic today. So many of the people that are looking to move to Serbia have been inquiring, hey, listen, Andre, I just heard Serbia is toying with the idea, and it looks like more than likely that they are going to be implementing mandatory military service for people and citizens here in Serbia. And what is that going to look like? And what is your opinion on that? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? And let's talk about that right now. I have an article pulled up here from Viesti.me, and I'll leave a link to this article in the description below. And the title is Serbia is one step closer to mandatory military service. Some military experts criticize the plan, saying it would be expensive and that such a short period of service would not contribute significantly to the country's defense capabilities. Now, what they're talking about is that Serbia is looking at implementing mandatory military training here in Serbia for a period of 75 days. Now, that is substantially less than what they did have back many years ago, where it used to be 1 year or 18 months of mandatory military training. And so what they're saying is that 2 months is going to be military training, and the last number of days are going to be fitness training. And so diving back into this article, it says, yesterday the government of Serbia adopted the conclusion on the formation of the working group for the review of activities and measures aimed at activating the obligation to service in military service for a duration of 75 days. The obligation to service in the military service in Serbia was abolished on January 1, 2011, with which the country switched to a model of professional armed forces with the possibility of voluntary military service. According to the current proposals, the mandatory military service for men in Serbia will last 75 days to 60 days of training and 15 days of exercises. The government announced military service for women will be voluntary and will take place under the same conditions. So again, the Western people out there might be, specifically Canada, the United States, this is not right. It should be equal for everyone. Listen, when countries go to war, typically it's men going out there, and so that's why mandatory training is typically for men, is because the men are going to be going to the front lines rather than the women. Now, if you're looking for equal rights, they actually allowed that in here as well, where women in Serbia will be able to go into the military training voluntarily, but it will also be taken under the same conditions. Do I feel that that's right? Yes, I absolutely believe that that's right, that men should go to military training. One is that, again, like I mentioned, when a war does happen to any country, it is men that goes out there. But I also believe that this day and age, that a lot of the younger generation out there are a little bit spoiled when it comes to what they look at important in life, what they are learning in life, what their obligations are in life, roles and responsibilities. I believe that military training is a great thing for the younger generation. It's going to teach you respect. It's going to teach you rules. It's going to teach you how to be disciplined, how to take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually. You're going to learn some very basic living situations and living conditions that we, this day and age, with all the modern technology, have, in my opinion, become a very soft society. I do not see that here necessarily with the younger generations. I do see kids here in a lot of combat sports. They're in a lot of physical sports such as basketball, tennis, soccer. They are a lot more disciplined here. They're a lot more advanced here in Serbia, even without the military training, rather than what I see in my home country of Canada and what you see happening in the United States and a lot of these other Western countries where, this younger generation is coming up with imaginary problems which are not actual problems. If you want to see actual problems, go to war and see who's going to survive, because the problems you have in the West right now with imaginary problems are going to be irrelevant if a war ever breaks out. And what I see here is that kids, even here in Serbia, as advanced as they are, they're going to be that much better individuals and adults and role models for their children if they were to go to take some sort of military training, even if it is for 75 days. Moving on into this article, President of Serbia, Aleksandar Vučić, praised his decision as an important step towards improving the state's defense readiness. I can see that. Now, I'm not going to get into the politics as to how great of a president Aleksandar Vučić is, but I do believe that having some sort of military training, combat training, physical discipline, mental discipline is going to be great for a country altogether, especially just in case things do hit the fan. And the Balkans is not known for being a very docile or non-combative area. There has been a lot of history here in Serbia and former Yugoslavia when it comes to wars. He goes on to mention, I pointed out that this is a big thing for Serbia, not only for the defense of the country, but also because it will strengthen young people's sense of responsibility and seriousness, which they will need for everything they will encounter in civilian life. Special benefit from mandatory military service, the cities, municipalities where the barracks are located will also benefit, because those areas will rise economically and progress and develop even faster. Vučić wrote on Instagram yesterday. I didn't even know he had Instagram. But like I mentioned before, it is going to give exactly that, the young people's sense of responsibility and seriousness. I feel that not only the Serbian kids here and the youth here are that much more advanced, but the Western cultures prolongs adolescence, right? We in the Western countries and cultures are at such an immature level, even in our 20s and 30s, that it's almost laughable, and there is no sense of seriousness there. Everything's a joke. The only things that we're taking serious is what bathroom should we use, what races and what's equal rights, and what's offensive and what's not offensive. That does not exist here in Serbia. That's one thing I wanted to point out, is for those that do come to Serbia, we are a very direct and blunt culture. There is no such thing as hurt feelings and safe spaces here. If you have something to say, you say it. If you don't like it, hey, we're open to conversation. If you're not, too bad. The common phrase is "shtacish." It's like, what are you gonna do? You can't go and complain to someone here and saying they hurt my feelings. People are gonna laugh at you and hurt your feelings even more here in Serbia. Further, go into here that the introduction of mandatory military service is a very serious topic. It seems too serious for the people in power, because they do not understand that the consequences of the moves they make are long term. And so I don't know about that. Yes, it's long term, but what consequences are there of sending someone in for even a short period, especially let's do this while the kids are out of school in the summer, right? Put them in some sort of training camp. It's going to benefit them in the long term. I'm not seeing any consequences, but who am I to ask? I'm not a professional. And so I'd like to leave the rest of this article for those that are interested in reading the rest of this article. I do believe that military training for people here in Serbia is great. This is not going to apply to those that are looking to come here on a temporary residency, on a permanent residency. It's going to apply to the younger youth typically, so those that are 30 years old or above. I'm not sure exactly what the age is going to be for getting into mandatory training. I believe it's going to be 18 years old and somewhere around there, but don't quote me on that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic, but this is only going to apply to Serbian citizens, the younger youth. So if you're looking to move to Serbia, don't be concerned of having to go into military training. That's not going to be something that's going to be obligated to you or required by you to remain in Serbia. The temporary residency process, the permanent processes are still going to be available to you. Even when you obtain citizenship here in Serbia, if you are above that age range of mandatory training, which I'm sure you are, especially if you're looking to move here from another country, you're already established and above that age range as it is. And so I'd love to learn about what you as viewers have to say about the mandatory training here in Serbia. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What are your thoughts? Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.